Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is a makeup tutorial on this look right here. I created it using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. I love how it turned out. Again, still struggling a little bit with this palette, but it's really, I feel like it's almost making me better at makeup, if you know what I mean. It's helping me when I make a mistake to really know how to fix it and how to work with the palette, which I'm actually really enjoying, even though it takes me a little bit longer to do my makeup, which I don't really mind because I love doing my makeup. If everything went really well every single time, when I would make a mistake, I end up just like wiping it off. So instead of wiping it off and starting again, this is really making me work, and I'm actually liking the challenge, strangely enough. I'm still absolutely obsessing over these colors. Even though we're heading into summer here in Australia, I'm definitely going to be using this all in summer as well. So guys, if you do like this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up down below and subscribe to my channel if you are new so don't miss out on any of my new videos. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week, guys, and let's just jump right into the video. I've just applied some tape and primed my eyes, and we're taking the first shade, which is Dawn, just on a really large fluffy brush, and I'm just going to be blending this one into my crease and up towards my brow bone. I'm going to leave in, again, a lot of my blending clips, if that makes sense, just so you guys can see how long it's actually taking me to blend out these shadows. Dawn, I feel like, is really lacking in pigment. You have to go in like a few times to really build up that pigmentation in the crease, but once you do, it's a really nice, soft, subtle color. Then we're going to be taking Edge, and again, I'm just taking this on a fluffy brush. This one is slightly more tapered at the top, and I'm really focusing this color a little bit more throughout the crease area. For Dawn, I blended up more towards my brow bone area and made it really diffused, but this one I'm focusing a little bit more in the crease. Now, Edge is really pigmented, guys. You only need to like touch your brush into that pan and the pigment is insane, so just keep that in mind. Next, I'm going to be using Destiny. Now, this is the shadow that I've been seeing people having a lot of issues with, so I was a little bit nervous to use it, but I'm just taking this on this is a Morphe R39 brush, and I'm just placing this into the outer V of my eye. So I'm literally picking up a little bit at the time and then blending it in through my crease really well before going in and applying more of that pigment, just to make sure everything's really blended, not getting any weird skipping or harsh lines or patchiness. I do really focus this color right into the crease, and then whatever I've got left on the brush, I'm kind of sweeping in towards the inner corner, as you can see me doing here. So yeah, just building up that color until I'm happy with it. Then I'm just going to be taking a little bit more of Edge just on that same brush that we used earlier to really blend out those edges between Destiny and Edge, just to make sure there's no harsh lines and everything's looking super seamless. Next up, we're going to be taking Untamed, and I'm just taking it on that same Morphe R39 brush, yes, and I'm just packing this on in my outer V really gently, and then slightly blending this color in throughout my kind of crease area, but mainly focusing it on my outer corner. So again, just packing on the shadow and then lightly blending out the edges with that same brush that we used earlier. So again, this shade, guys, is really super pigmented. You only need to tap your brush into that pan and the pigment payoff will be insane. So again, as you can see here, I'm just blending that shade right in throughout my crease area, but the main intensity and focus of this shade is going to be on that outer V, but just continuing to build up that intensity in my crease until I'm happy with it. And then we're going to be moving on to the shade Axis, and I'm just taking this on a little bit more of a stiffer, denser brush, and this one I'm really just focusing in that outer corner of my eyes. You can see again, guys, this shadow is so pigmented. You only need to like touch your brush into this pan and the payoff is absolutely insane. So once I've got hardly anything left on my brush, I am going to blend that shadow in throughout my crease, but I'm not picking up any more shadow on that brush, just using what's left on it. Then I'm just taking that same brush that we used for Destiny, and I'm just blending out the edges again to make sure there's no harsh lines. So once I'm happy with how everything is looking, I'm going to begin to cut my crease. I'm taking my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I'm just going to be applying this on my lid, and then I'm going to look forward, and this concealer will slightly transfer up into my crease, which will give me my perfect outline for my cut crease. This is a really handy tip, especially if you have a slightly hooded eye like me. This way you'll be able to see the kind of crease area when you open your eyes and when you close them. Sometimes your crease color can get a little bit hidden, and a lot of your glitter shadows or whatever you put on your lid can transfer up into your crease. So this technique really helps to make sure that this cut crease is super cut. So again, just building up that color until I'm happy with the opacity, and then slightly dabbing out the edges with my finger to make sure that that's not super harsh, like shadow to concealer, if you know what I mean. Next up, guys, I left this in because I stuffed it up, and sometimes you just stuff it up, and I wanted to show you how to fix it. So the concealer transferred way up too high. I looked way too far up. I don't know what I was doing, and I'm like stressing out, but we're gonna fix it. So I'm just going to cut my crease as I normally would and just forget about that little top bit. Then I'm going to go in, once that concealer's had a little bit of time to dry, I'm going to go in with my brush and really buff and blend out the concealer that's transferred too high up into my crease. Then you're going to go in with that concealer and make sure that the crease is super defined and cut. Now once I'm happy with the shape, I'm going to go in with a really small detailed brush and just apply a little bit more Destiny in through that crease area there. And then I'm going to blend out the edges with a little bit of edge from the palette and just slightly blending that out. Then I'm going to go back in with the concealer and basically make sure it's super cut along that same line again. Then I'm just going to blend out the edges with my finger. So next up, guys, I'm going to be going in with Electric, and this one, it does take quite a bit of time and effort to build up this shade. I kind of switched between using my finger and also using this really precise brush from Real Techniques. I think the brush ended up working a little bit better than my finger for some reason. I think when I put my finger into the shadow, it kind of like went a bit like putty, if you know what I mean, and I wasn't really getting that much payoff. So I think using a synthetic brush with this shadow is the way to go. So I'm using this really precise brush to get right up into my crease to make sure that line's super defined, and also using it to pack on that shadow. Next up, I'm going in with a little bit of Untamed, just on the same brush that we were using earlier, but I'm going to use this to help blend in Electric to the outer corner. So just using slight little wiggly motions to blend the shadow and tapping motions to really make sure it's nice and seamless and there's a nice gradient to the eyeshadow look. Then I wanted to define my crease a little bit more, and I'm just taking a small angled brush with a little bit of Untamed on it and just kind of focusing it right into my crease area, and then blending it out to make sure that line isn't super harsh and in your face and super obvious, if you know what I mean. Then I'm going to be going in with a little bit of edge on the same brush that we used earlier, and I'm focusing that right in the transition area where Electric meets Untamed in the outer corner. And then I'm just going to be blending it out with a clean brush to make sure that line is super diffused and seamless. Then I'm going to be applying Cube on my inner corner and also on my brow bone to highlight, and then taking a little bit of Dawn on that same blending brush we used at the beginning just to blend out the transition between my brow bone highlight and also my kind of lid space, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to remove my tape and clean up any fallout with a little wet wipe, baby wipe, face wipe. This is just one from Simple, and I'm just making sure everything's super clean and ready for foundation. Then I've just applied the rest of my base, and I'm going to be moving on to my lower lash line, and I'm going to be taking, oh my gosh, I look so pale, guys. So next up, I'm going to be taking Dawn, and I'm just running this along my lower lash line quite generously and building up that pigmentation until I'm happy with it. And then I'm going to be taking Edge just on that same brush that we used for Dawn, and just using that again to run along the lower lash line and build out that pigment, making sure it's super smoky. I'm bringing it quite far down on my lower lash. Then we're going to be taking a little bit of Destiny, and this is again on a pencil brush, but it's a slightly more tapered, smaller pencil brush, and I'm focusing this one a little bit more on the outer third of the eye. Then I'm just taking a large brush to blend out those edges and make sure nothing's looking super harsh. Then I'm going to be taking Axis on this is just an angle brush from Zoeva, and I'm just really stamping this along the outer third of my lower lash line to define my lash line. Then I'm going to be taking my Rimmel, this is an Exaggerate waterproof eyeliner, and just running that along my lower waterline to really open up the eyes. Then I'm going to be applying a little bit of mascara and lashes. These are the Vixen lashes from Socialize. Absolutely love them, guys. And then applying a little bit of MAC Fix Plus to my face, if I can get it to work. Spritzing my face, and then going on with highlight. I'm using the shade Pink Opal, I think that's what it's called. Pink Opal from the Kat Von D Alchemist Holographic palette. I just love this, tied in really well with Cube. This is a beautiful palette, guys. If you have not tried it, you definitely should. I absolutely loving all the shades in here. Then I just wanted a little bit more of a champagne-y hue to the cheekbones as well, and I went in with the the shade Moon Gleam from my Violet Voss Pro palette. Then for bronzer, I'm taking the Tarte Park Avenue Princess bronzer, and I'm just applying this all over my face where I like to bronze, using it as a little bit of a contour as well. And then again, to give myself a little bit more of a bronze look, I'm taking the Hourglass Ambient Lighting bronzer in Luminous Bronze Light, and I'm really going to town with this because I'm looking super pale in this video. Then for my blush, I'm going to be taking, I think it's called Prim, from the Tarte Amazonian Clay Bling It On palette. Then I'm moving on to lips. I'm using the Too Faced Melted Liquid Longwear Lipstick in Chihuahua. Then I'm going to be applying a little bit of a Maybelline Elixir, and I'm just applying that over the top for a little bit of gloss. And so guys, that is the finished look. I'm super happy with how it turned out. There were a few hiccups along the way, but we got there. We got there! And comment down below and let me know if you want me to do another look using the Subculture palette. I'd be happy to do that for you. But yeah, I hope you have a great rest of the week, guys, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.